Ladies and gentlemen, I am Lansco Bovarella, and the following is a Timor-Leste brief. The overall classification of this brief is unclassified. I will be covering geography, climate, population, religion, culture, government, military, recent actions, and current threats. Timor-Leste is located on the eastern half of Timor Island in Southeast Asia, just 200 kilometers north of Australia. The country is prone to earthquakes and tsunamis due to its location on the edge of the Pacific Ring of Fire. Additionally, Timor experiences flooding, landslides, and minor tropical cyclones. Timor-Leste has a humid tropical climate with an average temperature of 84 degrees Fahrenheit. Its wet season runs from December to April, with a dry season from May to November. During the wet season, the country is prone to tropical cyclones, although their effects tend to be weak due to the country's close proximity to the equator. However, with a poor infrastructure, these minor cyclones can have large effects. With a population of 1.3 million, Timor-Leste makes up less than 1% of the total world population. Timor-Leste's capital city, Dili, has approximately 9% of Timor-Leste's total population. Only 30% of the population lives in an urban setting. Although 95% of the population practices Catholicism, Timor-Leste's constitution provides the right to freedom of religion, allowing everyone to practice freely. Timor-Leste has a unique culture that reflects Portuguese, Roman Catholic, Indonesian, and Timorese indigenous roots. Under Indonesian rule from 1975 to 1999, the use of Portuguese was banned. During this time, Tidam and Portuguese were important unifying elements for the Timorese people, and as a result, Portuguese and Tidam were made the official languages of Timor-Leste. Timor-Leste and Australia have a somewhat complex relationship due to the aid Australia provides and the conflicts the two nations have. Despite the large support from Australia totaling an estimated $1 billion, the two nations have large conflicts over access to maritime oil reserves in the Timor Sea, as well as an Australian espionage operation. Australia is still scheduled to provide an estimated $92 million in aid from 2018 to 2019. The Timor-Leste Defense Force was founded in 2001. It's a volunteer force that consists of approximately 1,330 personnel. They possess no crew-served weapons, artillery, armor, or anti-armor. The Timor-Leste Defense Force doctrine is based on Indonesian TTPs. In 2006, members of the military from the western part of Timor-Leste claimed that they were being discriminated against by members from eastern Timor-Leste. As a result, 581 soldiers deserted their barracks and began protests that turned violent, resulting in 5 killed, 100 buildings destroyed, and 21,000 people to flee Dili. The Australian Defence Force led the international response with 3 other nations. The crisis was resolved once Prime Minister Al-Qatari resigned, although peacekeeping troops remained in Timor-Leste until 2012. Timor-Leste consists of 13 districts, which are each divided into subdivisions and further divided into towns and villages, resulting in decentralized local governments. The President, Francisco Gutierrez, is the head of state and government with limited executive power and appoints the Prime Minister. Tuar Mantan Ruak is the Prime Minister of Timor-Leste and is the head of government, presiding over the cabinet. Since its independence, Timor-Leste and Australia have disputed over boundaries and access to oil and gas reserves. In order to gain an advantage in the disputes, in 2004, Australia bugged the Timor cabinet. The senior intelligence officer that led the bugging operation revealed in 2012 that Australia had access to top-secret Timor cabinet discussions. This caused Timor-Leste to reject the treaty and prolonged negotiations until the 2018 Timor Sea Treaty was signed. In recent years, Timor-Leste has developed stable relations with its neighboring countries. The most prominent external threat to the nation is the economic pressures from China to purchase Chinese goods and equipment that are often poor quality and to employ Chinese workers in exchange for aid. Internally, Timor-Leste experiences crimes of opportunity, small street gang violence, and civil unrest. However, most violence is resolved peacefully. That concludes this brief. Once again, the overall classification of this brief is unclassified.